smells like something's on fire, guys. Everything's on fire. Ooh, do I see the Back to the Future air car? This is the Back to the Future, and I think this is a hovercraft. Ooh, I think this is it's got a pull start motor. Do not knock or lean on the car, thanks. That guy just knocked on the car. This is really cool. I hope this thing gets up and going in a few minutes. I gotta find out who built it. Did you build this?
Yeah.
You did? This is insane. This is all fiberglass and wood?
Styrofoam and fiberglass, a little bit of wood and aluminum, but yeah.
I'm sorry, I wasn't holding the mic up to you. So tell me, how did you build this?
It's basically a big sculpture out of styrofoam with fiberglass on the top, and like those leather armrests are actually a fiberglass cast of a real DeLorean armrest, and so that's basically it.
You wanna hold that for a second. Your name is Matt?
Yes.
Take me through this. Tell me, is this run by gasoline or electric? How's that?
That's a 16 horsepower gas engine. Runs the thrust. You gotta share.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to take that away from
Okay.
Sorry, Mike. So tell me a little bit about the motor.
So it's a 16 horsepower gas engine. It's basically a lawnmower engine. Runs the thrust. And then those rudders turn with the steering wheel, like you can see that. And then, so that's how it drives, and then it lifts off with this 6 horsepower engine in the front.
This motor in the front here provides the downward thrust that fills the cavity with air, which gets you hovering.
Yeah, that's right. It's pretty efficient. I ripped a giant hole in the skirt this morning when I took it off the trailer, and it still, even when it's bleeding so much air, it still works fine. So,
and when do you plan on taking it for another ride?
I guess I could lift it off right now just to show you that it works, but
I would love to see that.
Okay.
Here we go.
Oh, you want to do it? You want to tell the people to get away with it.
Let's see the door open up. Look at that. How long? Hey Matt, how long ago did you build this?
It's taken me 4 years, and it's just now almost done. So.
Right on. Labor of love, as mostly everything here is. Sorry. I think we have an electric start here on this motor. That's incredible, man. You should be really proud of yourself. That's incredible.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Do you make other things?
Not really. I mean, I don't have time for anything else, but I mean, I like to draw and make sculptures and stuff. This is a sculpture, basically. So.
And what do you do for a living? Do you build?
Right now, I just do this, but I usually do construction work, like remodeling or crab fishing. Those are.
Well, I think you got a career here. This is the best portfolio piece anybody could show.
If anybody wants to give me $70,000 to build another one, I'll do it.
Very good, man. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Here we are. This is my buddy Deja Molnar, and his company's name is Molnari. He designed, developed, and invented a lot of solutions on this flying car. It's a car that street legal and then when you feel like converting it, you can convert it to a gyrocopter. And the thrust is provided right here, right behind the seat. And let me try and find Deja. He could explain some of his design process. Here he is. Hey, bro.
You're James?
Yeah.
I'm Deja.
Jimmy's here.
I'm here to interview the man.
Are you Jimmy Diresta?
We're live now.
Are you the man?
Yeah.
Good to see you, Jimmy Diresta. How are you?
Come over here. I'm gonna talk to you. That's Nat. He's running the camera live right now.
Good.
So Deja Molnar, tell us a little bit about your flying car.
My flying car. Well, this is my impression of redesigning what the flying car is. The idea was to get something up and flying before everybody had an opinion about why it should look like something from the Jetsons or Flubber. So what I have is something that's licensed, registered, smogged, insured. It drives on the land. It flies through the air with the greatest of ease. It's legal in California and all other civilized nations. You can split lanes, so you can outrun cars that are lined up on the freeway, and then you can go to an airport, you can take off and fly. It's a gyroplane, and they're pretty easy to fly. And this one, we've been having flying since 2006. We've been driving around since 2005, and we kept the whole thing secret. And then I got a patent for the layout, which is kind of odd. It's the pilot sits in the front, and then the propeller is in the middle, and the whole fuselage, the whole body, everything runs through the middle of the propeller, and then the engine sits in the back. And I did that because I wanted to use motorcycle engines because they're always smogged. They're legal to drive, right? And so since they passed smog already, well, there's always new motorcycle engines coming out. They keep making them faster and faster and faster. They don't keep raising the speed limits, but we've got all this power on our hands now. You can get for like $1,000, you can get a 200 horsepower engine. So in order to do that, to fly, what really matters isn't horsepower, it's thrust. You need the propeller. This guy needs to push you. You'll need the propeller to thrust you, right? Well, the best way to get thrust and efficiency out of a propeller is have a really big one. So as the engines get stronger, by having no mechanical parts around it, and you can see it like on this one, aside from we've got a brew house here today apparently, but on this one, you can see there's nothing above or below it behind the man in the blue shirt.
Right on. Let's take a look. This is Deja's new model.
Yeah.
This is the second incarnation.
Yeah, we've got a 4-cylinder engine on here. That one was 50 horse, and this one is 160 horsepower. But obviously, so no wires, nothing, Mom. So what this means is that when we fold out the blades, we can get a lot of space for a big, fat, efficient propeller. And if we want to put a more powerful engine and then drop it in the back, we just make the landing gear a little taller to give us a little more ground space. Right.
And this is a 2-seater model. It seems like it would carry 2 people.
Yeah, of course. Two people or your dog, I think.
Right. And this is a labor of love. Of course, I know you personally, and this has been a labor of love. I remember the original concept drawings. Yeah. And it's incredible to see what you've gone through.
Well,
it became you should be really proud of yourself.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I mean, I know you've sacrificed quite a bit to get to this point.
Well, I've been very close to it, so it's hard to see. It's kind of nice to show it to people finally and see they do seem to like it in general.
Yeah. And you still have quite a bit of a ways to go.
Well, yeah, and
as far as development and raising money.
What I want to do now, there's actually not that far between where we are and where I want to be. I basically, because the performance is close. This one here will do about 180 on the ground, and I'd like to get just over 200 or so. And in the air, it'll do about 100. And I just want to have them very, very reliable. So I'm basically 1 or 2 design iterations away from something I'd be happy to use all day. And so I'm going to do that ideally very quickly through racing, as opposed to spending a lot of time kind of back in the lab, trial and error stuff. I really want to just make a few of them. We'll take them out, beat them up, travel around, race them against each other, and then whatever ideas we get out of that, just install them very, very quickly into the design.
And can you talk a little bit about the carbon fiber that I see everywhere?
Well, I built this, it was basically 2 guys in a bicycle factory. It's myself and Craig Calfee at his bike factory. And so he makes carbon fiber bicycles for a living. And so I figured, well, if we could take a lot of components and make them light, we could certainly fly this thing. So we bought a few motorcycle components, and I welded up a frame. There's a lot of carbon here, yeah, where we basically, some of it we attach carbon to steel and things like that. This one is made out of steel, carbon, rubber, aluminum, rope, wood, all the little things that you need. But at the end of the day, it weighs 430 pounds, and it flies really nicely, and it's been reliable. And so the carbon is a good thing because it gives you a lot of strength to weight, but it's not something we're married to for every possible application. It's just one of the tools that we use. Right. And on this one, again, it's a steel frame. We've been reverse engineering some of the front end parts in carbon right now to cut the weight down. But what I see in the near future is nobody aspires to generally to have a lightweight car. If you talk to Amory Lovins, who runs Rocky Mountain Institute, he'll say if you really want to get ecological, you need to reduce the weight of cars.
Any car.
Any car. And for us, what happens in the bicycle factory is what I'm going to hope is going to happen in the car world, which is people drive the weight of the vehicle down, and they're willing to pay for it. So the off-the-shelf car is very, 7,000 pound car costs you about $3 a pound. Craig's bicycles cost about $1,000 a pound. So what's going to happen now, I think, is rather than saying we're going to have an arms race where I can have a bigger car with more seats, we've got freeways that are filled with empty seats. What you're going to have now, I hope, is that you're going to have people that want to have lightweight cars, which are basically under 300 or 400 pounds, and they also fly. And the reason is that they're so light that they can fly, and that's what's going to drive the weight reductions. Good luck to Amory Lovins, and I hope he can do it, but I think something's going to have to drive that desire, and I think the ability to fly can drive that desire. It certainly has for myself and the few people that have been involved in this.
You make a great point about how cars are just so over-engineered as far as the weight.
Yeah, and there's nothing changing. I mean, a funny number is I just recently read in the LA Times the CEO of Ford was stating that flying cars are a bad idea. Well, if you think about Ford, I mean, they started out with the Model T. It's 100 years ago next year, 1913. They came out with the Ford Mustang in 1964. And then 42 years later, they re-released it in 2005. Well, I'm sorry, but flying cars are not a bad idea. What's a bad idea is completely releasing the same car every year based on the Model T. You know what? I don't want to hear it. So what we've got now is fewer empty seats on the freeway, a lot more speed on the road, a lot less waiting around in traffic, a lot less fuel getting used, and a lot of flying affordably. Jimmy.
Good luck, dude.
You're the man. I think you guys want to go see something else like this Mad Dragon next door. All right, brother.
Good luck, dude.
See you, thanks.
Peace.
Say what's up. Oh. How'd it go?
I think it went well. I've been getting the thumbs up from Nat, the cameraman.
Excellent. Where did you guys go?
We met Dejer, my buddy who owns the flying car, and we met the guys that have the giant bicycles. We met the guys with the front porch, Zach, and then we went up and watched the figure 8 race from the top of a scissor lift, which was a little nerve-wracking. And just walking around, it's been really cool. It's great to meet the makers this way. It's really cool. I really enjoy it.
It's like we've got several hundred people crowded around the maker and their project without having to make the maker all nervous or whatever.
You know who we just met? We met the guy with the DeLorean, the hovering DeLorean, and he was awesome. He got the thing started up for us. It was great, and the thing just it drew in a huge crowd.
Did it really hover?
Yeah.
What? How far off the ground?
It hovers because it's got a bellows, so it hovers enough for the bellows. The bellows fills up, and then air just kind of leaks out from the bottom of it. But it definitely hovered enough to get some land speed for sure. He didn't kick on the back fan because it would have blew everything over. But he got the bottom fan going, and he definitely got some height. He was able to shove this thing around. It was really incredible. I mean, it's a handmade DeLorean. It looks beautiful.
That's awesome. Hey, Dustin,